Well. India, of course, romping home in this 3-day ODI. Who would have thought that 2023 will see an IPL final, which will go into 3 days, and an India-Pakistan contest? But that's exactly what's happened at the RPS in Colombo. India getting the job done in some style, 228 runs, lots to talk about. Kohli, KL, Kuldeep. Basically, if your name starts with a K, you've done okay. Somesh Agarwal, how do you kind of look back at that rich win that we've had in this greatest rivalry?
I think this is as perfect a game as India has played in a while. It's like every player who stepped in the field played to his potential, and I mean the result is for everyone to see. It's a thumping win, a most comprehensive win in the past few years, and pretty happy. I mean, if they can, I mean, at this point of time after this game, this team looks as if they should just win the World Cup unbeaten. I mean, on paper they are that sort of a unit, but I mean everything has clicked. So it's good to know positive signs. And like I said, I mean, I was just looking at all these games as sort of games where India can identify a lot, and as of now, things look very positive.
Good, Kirat. I hope all is well on a Monday. Monday Blues, man. Talk to me about our beloved Blues, because if they play to their full potential, the batting comes off, the bowling comes off, we're the world fucking champions in 2 months' time. And as usual, he's just stuck. He is literally a
Outstanding,
rabbit
a
in front of
perfect
the
game for
headlights.
India.
Oh, he's here. He's here. He's arrived.
A perfect, a perfect game for India. I mean, I don't think India could have asked for anything more. The four batters who batted got useful runs. Almost all the bowlers looked in good touch. And yeah, I mean, really happy for KL.
I think
Yeah,
Gurkirat's
I was saying I'm
connection
really happy
is
for KL
shocking.
Rahul today because he's been someone who's faced a lot of criticism, a lot of trolling online, and some of it has also been unfair. But for him to score a good 100 on his comeback game has just answered everything for the for with regards to his place in the 11. And yeah, I mean it just goes on to prove why the team uh, really rates him highly in this format.
Yeah, I mean, so when you look at this scorecard, Kuldeep Yadav as well, let's just talk about him in due course. But I want to start chronologically because India, what they were, of course, at the end of day one of this 3-day one-day international, were 147 for two. They managed to get 209 runs, and pretty much thanks to Virat Kohli and KL Rahul. We'll start there. So, what did you like about both of them, in particular KL Rahul? Because he was ushered in, batting at four, but he played a breathtaking knock to get to 111.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way he tackled pace, that was a very positive part. Uh, I mean, even when he was fed a few bouncers on day one, he was able to put them away and then just consolidated. And never there was an. I mean, there was a small period when he kind of slowed down, but apart from that, uh, it was just a flawless knock and a flawless partnership, to be honest. Pakistan were a little, uh, they were a man down. Haris Rauf is a big shoes to fill, not just literally, but also in the context of the game. So that sort of helped the partnership too. But apart from that, yeah, pretty chuffed. I mean, this is as good a game as KL Rahul can ask for. Uh, I mean, even in the second innings, he was keeping. So that sort of puts things. It makes things a little interesting because if he's keeping while Ishan Kishan is in the field, that means we might as well count KL Rahul to be the lock now.
Do you agree,
That
Gurkirat?
that 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 basically means that when everyone's fit, Shreyas and KL come back in the 11. Ishan stays a backup, and
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I like I was saying, I feel really happy for KL because I mean, can't get better than this. You really can't say, oh, he scored runs against a small team or he scored runs against a bowling attack that wasn't good enough. And just the way he was playing against spin in the middle overs, which has sometimes been India's issue in limited overs. It just just made for very good viewing. And it's not very often that you can really look better than Virat Kohli. And even at points, it felt as if Virat was not, batting at his fluent best. But even then, he managed a 55 ball 50 and 122 runs in 94 balls. So coming to him, it's just that you can wake Virat Kohli up in the middle of the night, ask him to play a ODI game. You can be rest assured that he'll still end up with a score of 50 regardless of what touch he is in, because I felt, at least for when he scored his first 50, that he wasn't his fluent self. But even then, a 55 ball 50 is something that you will take most days from almost every number 3 that is out there. Not even talking about the acceleration, which we already know how good he is in that aspect.
Yeah, I think KL Rahul, there's lots of positives, of course. And heading into that World Cup, do you think he'll actually get the 8, 9 games now on the trot because he's been laid off from injury? So, do you think that'll be the case if there's no more back spasms?
Yeah, I mean, barring any niggle, I think there's no reason. I mean, see, it's a headache at this point of time. To be honest, it will be very difficult to pick the top five. But in a way, it's a good headache because there are some members in the team who are self-driven. But for others, I mean, they also know that there is no room for failure. There are options like potentially an Ishan Kishan or a Shreyas Iyer on the bench, and not to mention Sky. So it's like it's a good sort of headache to have because everyone is performing. I mean, when it's at times it's not a very good headache because you want certain players to be in the 11, but they are not in form.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say if Kohli was not in form, you can't field a India 11 in a ODI World Cup without Kohli. So you would fit him, but then that it will not be a good headache. That there are other players who are waiting. But here right now, your first 12 are performing, so that's a good thing, and it'll also push the players to keep performing because they know that in-form guys are waiting to take their spot right away.
Yeah. Now, I just want to talk about KL Rahul keeping wickets. First of all, Gurkirat, are we, when I say we, Indians, are we got the best wicketkeeper that India have in the country right now? Is KL Rahul a better glovesman than Ishan Kishan, in your opinion? It's all right. We'll just wait for Noida or Haryana or wherever he is for the Wi-Fi to react. It's all right. It's not, no problem.
What do you think, Avnish?
Bro, I think KL is way better as a keeper than Kishan. Even though Kishan
way better.
has...
ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा नहीं हो गया?
Okay, not way better, but like maybe like how Vikas put it in office like 20-19 का फर्क है. Like if you give KL a 7.5 on 10 as a keeper, probably 7.3 or 4 as Ishan. There's nothing much to choose, but like we're getting with a better glovesman, right? So you take that. So how much do you rate KL as a keeper? Because he has dropped a couple ones in recent times.
See, I still feel Ishan Kishan is a better keeper, but yeah, I mean KL Rahul is a decent enough keeper to sort of play him as a proper keeper in the 11.
Okay, Gurkirat, your Wi-Fi is back, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there was some problem. I don't know. I got it fixed today, but clearly the problem isn't solved. But yes, see, I think KL has continued to improve since the time he's taken gloves, and if his fitness, I do think even in test matches India would have looked at him as a keeper given the options that they had, but his fitness did not really hold well. So I thought he was fine as a keeper. I don't really have a lot of issues with KL as a keeper. One odd opportunity is something that even your regular keepers will miss, right? And I have always felt that you talk about that one lost opportunity, whether it's a catch gone down or a run out opportunity missed or a no ball or etc etc. You only focus on that one opportunity if your bowlers have not been able to create other opportunities. And see, if someone's dropping 4 5 3 4 catches or losing those opportunities, then it's a different issue. But we really cannot be criminalizing one mistake or one opportunity, which we sometimes tend to do in hindsight. So one opportunity, if it goes down, it can go down. It can happen with the best. But as long as you have a keeper who's safe enough, who's able to take eight and a half chances out of 10. I think it's good enough, and I feel KL is that keeper. I just hope that he stays fit while keeping, because we have seen today the kind of caliber that he has. He's definitely a better batter of pace bowling as compared to Ishan or Shreyas, and I don't think the differential is huge when it comes to playing spin bowling.
I just want to ask you these questions because I just want to understand where KL, the keeper, is in terms of world cricket, guys. And by the way, a fun fact over there: biggest margin of win against Pakistan and ODIs. India having 228 runs over there, so brilliant for them. Sri Lanka, of course, no one's broken their record in 2009 yet. But just coming back to this keeper chat now, you think of other names who can keep Samson. Then, of course, I'm throwing back to like pretty much the last decade of Indian cricket as well, apart from Dhoni. You look at Robin Uthappa as a wicketkeeper in KKR. You look at maybe Dinesh Karthik as a wicketkeeper generally. Where does KL Rahul rank for you, Som? I mean, what kind of keeper is he? Is he a natural, or is he someone like Bairstow who will probably pick it up along the way?
I mean, it's a very difficult thing to comment on, to be honest, because I don't think he keeps for the Ranji side as well. See, let's be very honest. I mean, KL Rahul is one player, who sort of does anything that you ask of him. So that's a very good part. So I'm pretty sure that given his desire to be there in the team, be involved in the setup, he'll definitely pick up things on the way. But so far, whatever we have seen, there are no real glitches. We've hardly seen any sort of thing for us to even discuss this. Even it's not even a point of discussion in my opinion.
The reason I brought it up, one second, Gokira. The reason I brought it up is because a lot of people were actually doubting KL Rahul at the start of this innings on Twitter, and they kept going back to that Bangladesh drop catch of Mehdi where he dropped a skyer. And it just makes me think if we are in safe hands, pun intended, with KL being picked right now. That's why I brought up. Go ahead, Gokira.
Before we close on this chat, I just want to say even your regular keepers like MS Dhoni and Pant have improved while keeping. Pant was a very bad keeper of spin bowling when he came onto the scene, but he improved when we saw him in that 2021 series at home versus England. He really improved, and the same was the case with MS Dhoni. In fact, you sometimes felt that when he was keeping two pacers in swinging conditions, he sometimes moved late. Because he used to do that to spinners. So keeping is something which players can improve. Your regular keepers can improve, and I really think it's not that much of a hassle or an issue because KL Rahul's a relatively safe keeper. It's not something to lose sleep over with. There are much bigger and better issues to lose sleep over on rather than
let's move on from that wicketkeeper chat then and talk about Virat Kohli, because it's super important for him to be informed. 47 ODI hundreds for the man right now, and he's done it in 79 innings, lesser than Sachin got to his 49th, which is brilliant. Somesh, a word in Virat, and a word in him kind of laying down a statement today saying, listen, you write players off at your own peril.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to meet someone who wrote Virat Kohli off in ODIs.
You can't meet yourself, can you?
No, I've never did it. I mean, you can go back to every discussion. I've been very clear about it. I mean, I know, Avnish, your attention span is that of a mosquito, so I don't. I mean, I'll sort of forgive you for forgetting it, but Virat Kohli, the ODI player, was never a debate.
Is he the best?
Not in my eyes. I mean, even before this tournament began, there were some experts making an Asia Cup 11 or those sort of crazy things, and there were some 11s where there was no Virat Kohli, and I was like, you're making an ODI 11 without Virat Kohli. I mean, one has to be very, very shallow to sort of make any sort of an ODI 11 without Virat Kohli in it.
But is he the best then, Som? 47 ODI hundreds, he's 2 away from Sachin. Will we look back at this man being he is the best?
Maybe a best in ODIs, but I'll still, pick him, Tendulkar over Kohli as an overall best batter that India have ever produced. It's just me. Okay. Maybe there is a debate in ODIs, but for me, it's a debate as an overall batter. There is no debate.
Okay, Gurkirat, I just want to ask you about Virat Kohli in his innings today, not with the shots that we saw, that's brilliant, but the running and just the speed. And this man is now at the better part of his 30s, to put it politely. How long can he go on for, and how long can he keep delivering on big stages like today?
See, if he stays fit, then he can easily play till the 2025 Champions Trophy. I don't really want to go too much ahead and say 2027 World Cup, but 2025 Champions Trophy is not a stretch. talking about his running, I read a tweet today which said that KL Rahul's real fitness test was today while batting with Virat and not at the HCA because of the number of doubles that they were running. And yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying, it's just difficult to bowl to him in ODIs because he just finds a way. He I mean, for all measure, you saw that KL Rahul had more boundaries than Virat, but there was a huge difference in their strike rates. And Virat, for the majority part of his innings, did not really look like that he was even trying, but he was still batting at a strike rate of 90 odd. So he's just that kind of an ODI batter. Before you realize that, before you just realize, okay, that he's already scored a 40, 45, and then it's very difficult to dismiss him. So yeah, his consistency in ODIs is second to none. Uh, of this era, he's definitely the best ODI batter out there. Uh, you could compare him with the likes of Viv and Sachin if you account for the eras that they played in, and maybe then even then you might say that okay, he has better numbers. But in terms of skill, I still feel that I have seen better batters. But with what he has done, especially in ODIs with the skills and overall, I'm not sure if I've seen a batter who has maximized his skill as much as Virat has done.
Yeah, and another fun fact being thrown in by a statsman over there saying Virat winning 39th player of the Man of the Match awards. If he did just get his 50 and didn't cross that 100 mark, it would have been, 65 or 66 50s, which is ridiculous. More available on the cricket.com website and everything else. Last question about Kohli to Som then. And I just want to ask you, it's so often we talk about batters who are generally greats at the game. If they kind of see that first 20 balls, 25 balls, there's no stopping them. And with Virat, it gives me that impression. So if you don't get him early on, he can make you pay and literally take the game away from you.
One Virat stat that I'm really interested in is the number of twos that he has taken in his career. I'm pretty sure that he's top of the charts. I mean, if anything in ODIs, Virat Kohli would likely be in the top 4 or 5, if not top 3. But I think I don't see any player who's run maybe more twos than Virat Kohli in his life. So that's just a testimony to the fitness level that he has maintained, and also finding those gaps. Like what Gurkirat has said, the reason that his strike rate is so good, even when he can't pick boundaries, he's always trying for those twos. It's not just about singles. So that's a very good thing about Virat Kohli, because see, this is where ODIs and T20s are very different. Even if you take like two twos in an over and then 4 singles, it's an 8-run over, and an 8-run over in an ODI, you're targeting 400. So this is where the game is very different.
Yeah, and for a guy like Virat, it honestly, he doesn't even seem like he's gassed by end of it. I know there are times where you see him like, okay, fine, indicate, get me a drink types, but like he's a human being at the end of the day. Let's move on then and talk about India's bowling, because there was a lot to like. Talk about that spell, Gurkirat. First up, Bumrah and Siraj. If they have their tail up, any batting team in the world are going to be shitting bricks.
Yeah, was very heartening to see Bumrah the way he bowled, and in fact, I'd like to say even the way how Shardul and Hardik bowled when they were brought in as first and second change, and the way they bowled makes me really, really confident of the fact that why India can do without Shami, because Hardik, when the ball's moving himself, is a handful. Shardul showed as well that he can also, especially when the ball's seaming around, even he can be a handful. So you rarely will not miss Shami when you have conditions where the ball can seam or swing. This is something that I said earlier as well, because in these conditions then you rarely need Shardul's batting, because what Shami can do with the new ball, you have 4 bowlers who can do it otherwise anyway. And what Shardul's been doing in the middle overs with the ball is something that Shami has not been able to provide, and hence you need Shardul a lot more, even as a bowler alone. So this is the perfect game. And Jadeja did not get wickets, but the way Jadeja bowled and he had batters in trouble was also good to see. I just felt there was one area where Jadeja could have been brought in earlier, because when there was a rain interruption, you knew you had to get 20 overs in. So maybe at that point of time, instead of bringing Shardul, Rohit could have brought in both the spinners and just run through the overs. Apart from that, I felt there was, pretty much everything clicked for India in the bowling department as well. Shardul bowled well, Hardik bowled very well. Uh, Bumrah showed his class and quality. Siraj has always been doing well. And then Kuldeep, I have a lot to talk about Kuldeep because I have been someone who in 2022 criticized him a lot because I felt that he was not really working on his defensive bowling and pace. But now when you see him bowl, the wicket that he got off Iftikhar, he bowled a quicker one. Now Kuldeep of old, while trying to bowl that quicker one, would have gotten his line wrong. He got his line perfectly on that ball, which is the change that you can see him as a bowler. And I have absolutely no doubt in saying this that of all the Indian cricketers who played in the 2019 World Cup and who will be playing in the 2023 World Cup, Kuldeep's the most improved of the lot. Most improved of the lot.
Just
So
hold your thoughts about Kuldeep because I want to pick Som's mind about it as well. But before I go to Som, Gurkirat, really quickly, did you enjoy the ball that Bumrah bowled to Fakar, the ball that Rizwan got out to Shardul, or Hardik castling Babar? Which one was the moment of the match for you? From those three?
Hardik Castling Babar was a better delivery. One more thing that I want to say. I told you that I don't believe in jinxes because we were having a chat. I said Kohli will score 100 today. You said don't jinx it. And I said I don't believe in it. You have an evidence.
Yeah,
You know,
100%. I should show that.
talking about all of this, Nikhil and I were making fun of Avnish when he said that he wanted India to score 350, and
Exactly. Exactly.
and
Well,
they
that's
ended up
true.
doing it. Yeah,
For sure. By the
Yeah.
way, and I said 350 for six. I should have said
Yeah.
356. Anyway, by the way,
No.
lots of positive coming about Kuldeep. So, Pranav Anand has a good question. And of course, you appeared into the television set when Kuldeep was bowling. What did you like about his bowling today?
But isn't this again Gurkirat's territory?
It is, but just generally, even you as a wrist spin fan.
Wrist arm, wrist spinner. Okay,
Yeah,
very,
wrist
very
arm,
good.
wrist spin.
Well said. Well said.
It's late, man. Come on, you got to cut me some slack. But how good was Kuldeep today?
Something that we've often discussed about Kuldeep is it's tough for a. I mean, it might seem easy, but it is very difficult for a spin bowler to generate more pace or sort of increase the pace at which they bowl, because it seems very easy, but the point is then you can lose a lot of other things. I mean, with bowling, when players are growing up, there are often the case when they have not grown to their full height, they are very good, but as soon as they grow to the height that they are supposed to, they lose the touch because they lose the length. And these are very subtle aspects of cricket which people sort of neglect. But with Kuldeep, it's fascinating that he has in the past year or more than a year now, he has sort of found that sweet spot of the pace at which that he has to bowl, so that he's not getting belted around. Not just that, he's picking truckloads of wickets that he has been doing for a while now.
Gurkirat, you mentioned Kuldeep's the most improved player from the last World Cup to this World Cup, but he also had one hell of a low in that timeline, especially that game comes to mind when Moeen Ali took him apart and, of course, the tears and all of that. Do you think that was probably that wake-up call where he had to really change his game and be more clever?
No, I think the wake up call came for him when he was not getting picked for KKR and he saw someone like a Varun Chakravarti replacing him in the 11. Because I don't think there can be anything worse for you as a player. You've represented your country, you have come through the conventional system of playing domestic cricket, and then uh, and Kuldeep Yadav was sort of a star by then, because he had played one World Cup for India. He had a very good start to his limited overs international career. He had a decent start to his Test career as well. And then you see someone like Varun Chakravarti, who you could say wasn't really, has not come up the ranks through the conventional ways. He's an architect, and he comes on and he replaces you and he bowls better than you, and there's absolutely no chance of you getting in the 11. Very rarely you will see an India international who's been a part of the team not get picked for his IPL side. So I think that was the wake up call, and that is where I felt, because that is where I felt he realized that he needs to work on his fitness. See, his pace has gone up without a doubt, and along with that pace and fitness, that fitness has helped him bowl that pace with control. Because
But sorry,
that
what is the difference between someone like him and Tabriz Samji? Because Nani Code 4 goes on to ask you that as well. Can you just give us a quick comparison? How they're different?
I feel Tabrez Shamsi has lesser control. The tendency of Tabrez Shamsi to bowl a shorter one, where he can be cut or pulled, is far more than Kuldeep's. Kuldeep has now been able to bowl in that spinner's corridor of uncertainty, that 4 meter or a 5 meter length, from where if you've not picked him up from the hand, you are completely reliant on picking him off the pitch. Earlier, when he was bowling in that speed of 75 to 80, it was easier, especially if the pitch is slow. You can go back and you can play him off the pitch. But when he's bowling in late 80s or early 90s, then picking him up off the pitch is difficult, especially when it's bowled at a line and a length where the ball could turn either way, and it is challenging both the edges of your bat. That is important. If he's bowling that line, say on the fourth stump or the fifth stump, then as a batter, at least my inside edge will not get tested. I will be tested on my outside edge. But if it's bowled within the stumps, or on that off stump, then you are in a real problem, because you really don't know which edge of the bat is being challenged. So that consistency has become far more with Kuldeep, and the tendency to bowl that shorter one, it's not completely eliminated, and it would never get eliminated with wrist spinners. That's an unreal expectation. But that tendency of bowling that shorter one has come down far, far more than what it was earlier.
And that shorter one is also at times a setup for a flipper.
Yeah, it's a quicker one, like how it was for Iftikhar Ahmed today, or for Fahim today, like how Pranav was mentioning.
Let's just reflect some comments before we wrap up, boys. Today, Pakistan went in a shell. Looks like KL passed on the banner to the whole Pak team. Nikhil Baiju saying Hardik also showed great up front, hitting the right length and channel. They should try with the new ball again. It's worth it. And I think our very own crazy Nick saying, well done, Avnish. Now take earlier questions too. He had one basically to take the piss out of both of you guys, saying,
no, just me. Yeah.
Oh, just you, right? Answer this, so please.
Yeah, the point is, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna just pick this game, then you might as well see India just winning the World Cup unbeaten, like I said. But the point is, again, I feel they should find a place for Ishan Kishan, because I am a tad uncomfortable. I will continue to be a little uncomfortable with it.
Okay.
Also, I'm not sure if this is the right game as well to talk about that, because I feel somewhere Pakistan helped India by not playing Nawaz. They played Fahim Ashraf, and we've discussed this earlier. In fact, if we go back, if people, those who are watching right now, and go back to our preview, the major thing that we've been talking about Pakistan's weakness is how will they get wickets in the middle overs. Right.
Yeah.
Today, with Haris Rauf getting injured, that became a bigger factor. And I felt when the play resumed, Babar Azam was probably hedging his bets on the fact that India will not get to bat 50 overs. So might as well bowl Naseem and Shaheen up front and try and take those wickets, and then we'll see about later. Because by the time the 28th over was bowled, Naseem Shah had bowled his 7 overs and Haris was not on the field. So it became more difficult for Babar to manage the overs. He had to bowl a lot of Iftikhar Ahmed, and credit to KL to take complete toll of Iftikhar. He was prepared in his mindset that I will not let a part timer go, and I don't think Shadab had a good game with the ball either. He gave a lot of freebies to Rohit yesterday, and today as well. The 6 that KL hit to Shadab was outstanding. It was something else.
It was brilliant. By the way, Chichan's simply just going to go and gaslight in the comments, saying I'm not sure about Kohli also. He's failed in ICC ODI and knockouts 2011, 2015, 2019. Kohli's choked when it's mattered. I don't think that'll be the case. And I don't even think Somesh will think that'll be the case. So.
Firstly, I don't know how 2011, 35 or 49 is a choke. That is not a choke.
That's what I'm saying. People just have like high expectations.
And 2011, 35, 40. If that's a choke, that's perhaps Virat Kohli's most significant knock.
In an ICC game. Not in the 2013 Champions Trophy, 50.
Yeah, I was coming to that. There's that.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask him, he might as well just go on to say that, because obviously World Cup cannot be, Champions Trophy cannot be bigger than the World Cup. But the point is, see, till 2016, there have been a lot of crucial games where he has contributed. 2016 against West Indies in the T20 semi-final, he was the one who scored those runs.
Semi-final, virtual quarter-final, Australia.
Yeah, against Australia. I think since 2016, I can still agree, and to an extent, I actually do agree. I won't deny that, but yeah, I mean, taking it so far back is uncalled for.
2014 World T20 semi-final and final, he scored runs. That innings against South Africa in that semi-final doesn't get talked about a lot, because India eventually went on to lose.
And the 2016 final, semi-final, quarter-final against Australia. for sure.
Yeah, the virtual quarterfinal. But
Sorry, not
I
the
think
final, semi-final.
that 2014 semi-final knock versus South Africa doesn't get talked about a lot because India lost in the finals. But uh, Virat Kohli in that game batted against spin as well as I have seen him bat against spin. I mean, there was this one shot that he hit off Imran Tahir, a slog sweep, uh, which
Over
which
cow
is
corner.
which is a very rare sight. So, and that was not an easy chase. It was 172. 172 in 2014 was not a straight cakewalk, and the pitch also wasn't the easiest one to bat on.
Hmm.
So
By
there
the way,
have been good.
Paji, no, there's some lots of comments coming through regarding you, and we have to wrap up because my producer is absolutely animated right now, saying Paji can launch cricket analytics course or workshop. Speaking of cricket analytics, we have the best. Cricklytics is the best.
I don't watch enough cricket to do that. There are far better people in cricket.com itself who watch far more cricket than me to do
But
that.
Nani Core 4 thinks you speak like Barbie and everyone else speaks like Oppenheimer.
I have not seen both the movies.
Okay, and a
दोनों ही
final
नहीं
one,
देखे, सब दोनों.
and a final one for Som tonight comes again from Nikhil Popat. So, do you drop Shreyas for
I
Kishan?
saw this coming. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want to be in the position to pick that, but I'll say something. If most of them firmly believe that the best 11 is with both Shreyas and KL in the 11, and Ishan can be kept out, I'm happy to have this running till the end of Australia series, because against Australia, I'm hoping that they play both Zampa and Ashton Agar, and if India sort of survive or do well in those three ODIs with top six being righties, and no Shreyas Iyer sort of countering the away going spin well, then maybe that's the best way forward. But if, let's say, India somehow face an issue where the middle order is getting a little stuck with away spin, then they need to rejig quickly. Who they pick between Shreyas and KL is a very tough question to answer right now.
Okay, last couple of questions. And Uli to Gurkirat, very quickly, I have less than 30 seconds, my friend. And it is, of course, tomorrow because India, Sri Lanka tomorrow. Hello. I can't believe that they finished bloody Pakistan and now they play Sri Lanka in literally 14 hours' time. Anyway, we can see Tilak Verma tomorrow. Nikhil Baiju asked Gurkirat, yes or no?
No.
Okay, and what about this one? KL Kohli resting tomorrow? Yes or no?
No, KL will not want to rest
Okay, fine.
at
Super.
all. He
Kohli
will
might.
not want.
Kohli might. I mean, they might test. If Shreyas is back, maybe they might.
I
They-
see another
they
possibility.
shouldn't,
which is-
but yeah.
I see another possibility which could be maybe resting Siraj, but unlikely.
Okay, speaking of rest, guys, we'll end the best comment because Sohangi going on to say she's a fangirl for sure because she's definitely badgering us with a lot of comments. If you're new, Sohangi, please subscribe and tell a friend about cricket.com. Hey, Avnish, back here again at this hour just for you. You look really tired. Hope you get some rest after it. Talk to the Indian cricket team and the BCCI and Somesh maybe at times to just like let me loose. No, I love throwing Som under the bus all the time. But guys, really appreciate all you guys being such champs in the live chat, being interactive, because without you guys, we're absolutely nothing. We've grown stronger. 35.5k subs is what cricket.com/TV we're on right now. So thanks for this fast ending 32-hour game, India-Pakistan one-day international, which is ridiculous. We'll be here, India versus Sri Lanka, doing the preview at 2:25 tomorrow afternoon. You can join the same crew, I presume, unless there's no changes. I think Somesh is not there for that one, but Gurkirat and Nix will be there. But yeah, thanks, gents. It's been brilliant. And we'll see you shortly. Subscribe if you guys are new and like this video if you haven't already. Where is the goddamn end screen? It's here. Okay, cheers. Bye.